out, and some folks had to go to work and that sort of thing. So we jetted down there on the boat and picked them up. And
a little shuttle service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. But do you guys do rescues like during flooding? I mean, is that one of your really busy times? Like, okay, we're getting ready to flood. We got to amp up and get ready.
Yeah, there's, of course, some local businesses down there where we have in the past went and rescued those folks. There's some elderly folks in years past that we've gotten some calls on. Down McKinster, folks needed medication and had appointments and that sort of stuff. So we would go down there, pick them up, bring them back to where there was dry land and they could get in a vehicle and go about their merry way. But yeah, we do rescues in the high flood water.
Are you the only two Marine deputies?
We do have a part-time deputy too, Terry Huntsman.
Okay.
So he works most of the year with us, just not the long hours like what we would. But
right.
Yeah, we do have a part-time, two full-time.
I know you're county, so does that mean you're doing stuff up in the Nehalem and doing stuff down in Pacific City? And
yeah, it's all
that
Tillamook
big,
County.
long, I know, we have such a long county.
Yes, yeah.
So you're doing all of that.
Yes.
That's a big job. And are you on patrol when you're not doing a rescue I guess that's the enforcement part of the rivers, right?
Yeah, we focus on the boating stuff, but if the deputies need help on the road, we definitely help out.
Mm-hmm. Or in searches and things like that.
Yes, which we've had this last week was very busy. I think we had 4 or 5 searches where we had to look for folks and do different things in our search and rescue function also.
In down here or up in the mountain?
Most of them were up in the mountains.
Yeah, the snow.
Yeah, I'm ready for the snow to go away and be gone.
I know Landon was here last month, I think, and was saying when it snows, people go up there and city folk go up there and say, oh, this is fun. And then they get stuck up there and then there's not great cell service. And yeah, it's not a real great situation.
Well, that's the thing is, like I was telling some folks that we rescued off Mount Hebo here a couple weeks ago, they drove until their truck is absolutely buried. They can't go forward or backwards. And then they decide to get out and play in the snow and become, stuck there. So I asked her, I'm like, does it matter if you play in 6 inches of snow or 3 feet?
Right.
It's still snow.
Or park where it's 6 inches and then walk up to the 3 feet of snow. Yeah, because, that's great. You go play in the 3 feet of snow, but how are you going to get out?
They don't think that far forward, I guess.
Yeah. They just think, hey, snow! This is fun. Open the door and the snow's right there.
That's right.
Up to my door handle. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about TBCC. Tillamook Bay Community College would like to remind you that it is never too late to go back to school. At TBCC, you can get started from any step in your life, whether that means earning a GED, learning a new skill to move up in your career, starting work towards a bachelor's degree, or learning English as a second language. TBCC can be your partner to reach your career and educational goals. To get started, visit their website at tillamookbaycc.edu to learn what programs and services are offered, or come in and visit a career academic advisor who can assist you in looking at career and educational options. They also have financial aid advisors that can assist you in learning how to finance your education and set yourself on a course for success. Now is always a good time to get started. TBCC, change your mind, change your life. And their registration is open right now for their spring term through April 1st. So we're talking with Deputy Billy Cloud and Deputy Kelly Awe this morning from the Sheriff's Department. I know we kind of got away from water safety, and we hit on 2 real big ones, the cold and the life jackets. Are there other things that we should know about water safety? Maybe go out with somebody, tell people where you're going?
Yeah, and that's and that also goes for any type of trip that you're planning. Let somebody know. So many of our search and rescues are, hey, we had a family member go out and do something, whether it be boating or fishing or going for a hike in the woods, but I don't know exactly where they were. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty tough for us to put people in the area to find them when we have really know where to start looking.
In such a large area to search.
Absolutely. Especially
up in the forest.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's miles and miles and miles of ATV trails and logging roads. Same thing with the water, it's nice to give have some sort of a plan of what you're going to do and let somebody know what that plan is.
Right. Or go with somebody. Well, I guess if you're with somebody and you get lost somewhere, it's probably not going to help.
Yeah, a lot of the times they said they like to fish in Tillamook, but we don't know where.
Yeah, and how many rivers can you fish on here? A lot.
7 I can think of.
Yeah, that's and like I said, can you fish on the Nehalem? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean that's 40 minutes up north from, Tillamook, and I don't know what there is down south, but I mean that's a pretty big span to try to find somebody.
It is. So, like I say, if you could just leave a note or send somebody a text message, hey, I'm going to go, fishing on the Trask, that sure makes our search area so much smaller.
There was a search recently up in the mountain where a family, they had said they were going to Brown's Camp and they were going to be back by 9, and then by midnight the family got concerned, like, okay, they haven't been back yet, we need to call. But that was a good example of them leaving and saying, this is where we're going, we expect to be back by this time. And when they didn't come back, somebody called in and said, hey, we need some help. So, yeah, it's a good example.
Yeah, it makes our search area so much smaller. I mean, if we have an idea, okay, family said that this is where they're going, and that's where we can start, not kind of throw the dart on the map and say, okay, well, we need to start there.
Right.
It's sure, like I say, it makes our response time and it's so much quicker.
How did you guys get started in the sheriff's office?
Well, we both started as reserves probably in about 1997 or so.
To make you feel old, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That was not 30, 20. It's still a little early. I haven't had math yet. So you were reserves.
Correct.
And then you got hired on. You just came over, Kelly, from
Well, I
patrol.
started in 99 in the jail and then worked 5 years in the jail and then came over to the road.
And then now you're a Marine deputy.
Correct.
And were you always a Marine deputy, Billy?
I started in Marine in 2008, I believe. Yeah, I believe that was the year.
So do you enjoy your job? Is that something you really like? I don't know.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, every day we go to work, it's different.
Sure.
Not just day to day, but season to season. We're kind of centered around the boating community. So, like right now, we have steelhead fishermen. Next month, that'll roll into some springers. That opens us up to some patrolling in the bay. Summertime, the Nehalem really starts getting going with its salmon fishery, and then of course all the crabbing and netarts and stuff and all that sort of stuff. And then from there, we roll into fall Chinook, which kind of moves us back up.
Yeah,
into the
there
rivers.
really is. It's just a cycle.
It's a big cycle. It's a lot of fun.
It's year round, and this is things that we do on our days off, so it's enjoyable.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah. And then during the summertime, do you patrol out in the ocean with? I mean, I know you said you can go 3 miles off the coast, right? It's kind of your territory.
Yeah, we do end up out there, with the ocean summer salmon fishing and that sort of thing. So.
And tourists. I mean, I'm sure you deal with a lot of people from out of town, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go back to water safety. I keep going because I feel like we keep getting off. What are some other things we need to be aware of when we're in the water?
Well, we kind of touched on water temperature, life jacket. Something else that when I used to do my school presentations was if you do come across somebody that's in distress, unless you've had some proper training, I suggest that you don't try swimming out there to rescue them yourselves.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So, and there's lots of things you can do. You can find a stick. You can find a piece of rope. Obviously, you want to get somebody on the phone with 911 to get some help rolling that way. But I just suggest that, you as a citizen don't run out there and try to help somebody in distress because they're obviously not going to think clearly, and there's a pretty good chance that one or both of you could end up drowning.
Yeah,
and, you just went out there to help, and this person climbs onto you.
And sinks you. And you don't know, I mean, when they're in the water, it's hard to tell how big or small they are.
Sure.
You go out and it's somebody bigger. What can you tell us some things about, like, I read something recently about what it looks like when someone is drowning. It's not what you think it would. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Oh. Like a lot of people think that if someone's drowning, they look like they are going to be splashing around, and they're not really. It's more, they have kind of a dazed look on their face, and they might just be barely keeping their head above water. Just, I don't know. It was an article that I read about that. Thought it was interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, obviously getting somebody on the phone is a good idea, 911 calling, and then just trying to help them with some type of flotation or something they can grab onto to be able to pull
throw
them in.
A stick, see if you can reach out with a stick and have them grab a hold of it, a piece of rope, a buoy if you're on the beach, a piece of driftwood. There's there's a multitude of things that you could try to get to that person so they can hang on to something that would float, and maybe more they can more save themselves instead of you trying to swim out there. Maybe you get halfway out there and you tire out.
Oh, sure.
Now there's two people in distress.
Right. And possibly not somebody watching from the shore or wherever you are.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so what else can we talk about for water safety?
I guess just for your boats, you want to make sure that you have all your safety equipment.
Which would
your
be?
throwables, life jacket for each person that fits you, fire extinguishers, a whistle, just some of the requirements.
See, that would be something I wouldn't think about as a fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all boats require a fire extinguisher, but it's good to have one on board if you're going to have a gas motor.
So things on the boat, and obviously your licenses and all of those types of things. Do you need another one of your lovely cough drops, Billy?
I've got them strategically placed here.
He has them open.
About due.
He has already pre-opened them so that he didn't make a noise on the radio. He's very smart.
I'm getting some text messages on things to keep
Oh, good.
bringing
Yeah,
up.
go ahead.
Stay away from driftwood on the beach.
Oh,
So many times we've
yes.
had reports, and I know years ago we had a fatality at Barview. Somebody got pinned under some driftwood.
A friend of mine has a video, and I'm going to say her name on the radio because I know she won't care. Ann Harper has a video on Facebook that got shared like 1,000 times or something. And it's a big piece of driftwood. I think it was from not the Christmas or the winter we just had, but the last winter. And it's a piece of driftwood that is being knocked around by the waves and not very far out. I mean, it's at the end of where the waves are reaching. And it's amazing how powerful the water is to just knock. It's amazing. Toss that, and it's a huge piece. It's not little. It's a huge piece of driftwood.
Yeah, a couple 1,000-pound log, a few inches of water rolls over on top of you. Now you're pinned under it.
Yeah, and that's something else we should talk about: sneaker waves and ocean safety.
Yep.
I think the number one thing I always, having gone down to Pacific City, my parents always told me, don't turn your back to the ocean. It's like one of the biggest things you should never do in the ocean, because those waves will get you.
Yeah, and there's riptides, the strong ocean currents. It may look fairly calm out there, but, the water comes up, and when it sucks back out, it can pull you out there. So keep in mind of that. The how to get yourself out of a rip current. Swim parallel to the beach. Don't try to fight in it because you're just going to tire yourself out.
Right. Tell me what a rip current is, or explain what a rip current is, because that's a current under the surface a little bit, right?
I believe so, yeah, and it kind of funnels itself back out into the ocean, and I think they've done, from what I've read online, they've done tests where they've had like Olympic type swimmers try and swim against it, and it's tough for them to swim against a rip current. So,
and it's typically perpendicular to the shore, which is why they say swim parallel to the shore, because you can get yourself out of it that way.
Get yourself out of it, and then swim yourself into the beach. And keep track of your children.
Yeah.
We get assigned Cape Kiwanda in the summertime, and there's sometimes 3,000 to 5,000 people down on the beach, and it's every weekend. Somebody will come up running up to us frantic. I can't find my 3-year-old, or I can't find my 5-year-old. Well, where were they last seen? Well, I just we were up here at the dunes, and they were down playing in the water. There's over 100 yards difference. I mean, you have no idea how quickly your child can disappear in the ocean.
Yeah.
When you're 100 yards away. I mean, they need to be in arm's reach of you at all times.
Yeah, those sneaker waves will get you too, where the tide's kind of going out, and then all of a sudden you get one that comes up, and they're powerful again. And a 3-year-old isn't going to have the stability and the body strength to hold themselves from getting sucked out.
And even in the summertime, it's cold. Obviously, an adult would last longer in the cold water than a 3-year-old because of body mass. So
right.
They'd succumb to the elements much quicker than we would.
Yeah, the ocean is really pretty, but it can be so dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about the Pioneer Museum. Do you guys ever go down to Kilch's Point? Do you ever have rescues down there? Because is that a bay? It's a bay, right?
Yeah, it's
part
in
of the
Tillamook
bay.
Bay.
Yeah.
Over there on Kilch's.
Yeah, I haven't had any rescues, but I've had some calls down there.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Let's see, Tillamook County, it's a beautiful part of the world with a rich history. And thanks to the Tillamook County Pioneer Museum, from the beauty of our shores to the preserved wonders of our past, our history is secure. Established in the 1930s, the Tillamook County Pioneer Museum was given the task of preserving and interpreting the environmental and human history of Tillamook County. And what a wonderful job they're doing. The care they give the exhibits, you'll find a restored Victorian bedroom on the second floor of the museum. To the heart they show our environment with Kilch's Point, a special place on Tillamook Bay, with acres of forested wetlands, tidal marsh, and open meadow. It is Tillamook. These acres are held in trust by the museum, protected for us all. The history of Tillamook County serves as a reminder of the diverse people who have called it home, and this stretch of the North Oregon coast is a living memorial to those who've come before. That history is preserved for all to enjoy at the Tillamook County Pioneer Museum, open Tuesday through Sunday on 2nd and Pacific in downtown Tillamook. Step back in time with the Tillamook County Pioneer Museum. They have a really cool history exhibit this month, or right now, called The Faces and Places of Tillamook County. They went through all their archives. They have like 13,000 pictures or something like that. So go check them out. It's pretty cool. I'm here with Billy Cloud and Kelly Awe, deputies, Marine deputies from the Sheriff's Office. So we're talking about water safety in general, but the ocean, some of those, that water can be powerful. And it made me think also, when we are flooding, kind of jumping back to that, the whole turn around, don't drown thing. People go around road closed signs and think, oh, that's not that much water, and drive through, get stuck, get swept away. Can we talk a little bit about that? I mean, water is powerful.
I think it was, what flood was it that the lady up in Nehalem, she was in a pickup truck and got washed over. And I don't think they found her either.
No.
Oh.
So it's very dangerous.
But not a recent one.
This was 2008 or 9, 10, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think there was a big one in 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
Or 2 big ones or something.
Yeah, she ended up getting washed off the road and washed out of her vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
And we never did recover.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I know I've coming Highway 6. I come into Highway 6 to come into town. And under the railroad pass, there's been a couple times where I've stopped and thought, I know the road's not closed, but I don't know that I can get through there. And I have a lower car. Makes me a little nervous. I mean, I'm not going to get washed away anywhere there, but it's still enough could, get up and shut my car down.
Sure.
And it cost you a bunch of money when you had
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. Do I turn around or the road's not closed?
Well, and a good example of why you shouldn't drive through it is if you go to the areas where the water does run over the road and you look at the shoulder. I mean, all the gravel and asphalt and concrete and stuff's ate away and shoved out into a field. Sometimes it gets hard to even tell where the edge of the road is.
Oh, sure.
That can increase the water depth by 2-3 feet if you happen to get off the road.
Oh, yeah, into like the
into
culvert or the ditch.
And that could be.
Do you guys assist with those? Like if there's a car that's out stuck in a flooded area somewhere?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have to get out there and sometimes walk out there and try to get them out. Yeah.
And do you? What are some rescues? I mean, car accidents. Are there car accidents up the Wilson? Like, are those types of things that happen in the river that you ever have to assist with? I'm sure they're rare if they happen.
Yeah, we haven't had one for quite a long time.
Yeah, you had one where Burdens had to come get the car out of the river on the Wilson.
A couple summers ago?
Yeah, a couple summers ago.
I had to scuba dive down there and hook the chain up to the,
Do you, so is that part, do you have to scuba dive a lot? Are you a scuba diver?
No.
Okay.
It's maybe once a year. Sometimes, 2 or 3 times a year, sometimes none. So it just depends.
Yeah. And anywhere, in the river, bay, whatever?
Yeah.
Interesting. Ocean? Do you scuba in the ocean?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, do you help? I'm curious. Do you get to help with the lovely tourists that get their cars stuck out in the ocean?
We have a kind of a don't hook up tow policy. So unless somebody's about to lose their life or something like that,
right?
We would, of course. But most of the time, unfortunately, if people choose to do those things, we don't choose to go out there and assist them. Once we make sure everybody's out of the car and they're safe.
Right, the people are safe.
Yes, then we.
Here's a number you can call tow truck.
Absolutely, and
tide's coming in. Hope they come in quick.
I've seen some really good ones. Some brand new dealer plated Cadillac Escalade one time on the beach in Kiwanda.
Ouch.
Doors open, water's breaking completely over the top of the rig, and I tell the young gentleman once he gets out of there, I can get you a tow, and he basically says that he's going to have to think about it because his parents don't even know that he's taken the vehicle yet.
Oh, that's a good one.
So,
So yes, young gentleman, probably in his early 20s, late teens.
yes.
Yeah. Oops. Oopsie.
So, once we guarantee that everybody's safe, we try to assist them by calling them a tow truck.
How are those people getting stuck? Is it just that the tide's coming in, they're not paying attention, and the sand is softening, and then they realize it's too late by the time they realize?
Yeah, it's those trucks can get stuck really easy in that sand, and then it's too late. You're basically calling a tow truck, and hopefully it gets there in time.
Yeah, the people that are, because they're down farther on the beach than they are, the dry sand. They're down on the packed wet sand. If you're not paying attention to
I've been
tide
through
tables.
Cape Kiwanda where there's been 3 minivans stuck at one time.
Oh,
so
geez.
it's just what it is down there.
Again, growing up in Sand Lake, I remember we had friends that had a beach house, and that kind of was like an activity for us, was to sit up on the second story when the tide was coming in and watch to see how many people got stuck. Yep.
Yeah, it's the same way kind of at Garibaldi, the people line up to watch the people try to launch their boats too. So it's kind of a sightseeing thing.
Yeah, something fun for us to do. Hey, let's go down to the beach, watch people get stuck in the ocean. We have just like a minute left. Is there anything else you want? Maybe recap some water safety things since summer is coming up.
Just one other thing is when you're down there at Cape Kiwanda, watch for the boats coming in.
Oh yeah, the dory boats.
Once they start to slide, they don't have brakes, and I've seen several times where I'm watching and the little kids are running. It's like, I can't yell at them because they're going to look back at me and not see the boat coming. You just,
listen for the horns. I mean, they are very loud with their horns. It's not like they're sneaking up on you. They're trying to be as loud as they possibly can.
Pay attention to those boats coming in because they're coming in sometimes awfully fast and there's no brakes.
Yeah. Would you recommend if people are down at the beach with their kids, they put life jackets on their kids? Is that like a recommended thing if they're going to play in the water?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So life jackets. Be aware that the water is cold. I think all of us locals probably know that because we've been in the water at some point or another. Make sure your boating licenses are all up to date and things like that, right?
And you have everything on board of your boat that you're supposed to have.
Yeah. Anything else we want to mention?
I think we've got it.
Yeah. Summer's coming up. Be aware. I think that's probably the biggest thing, too, is just be aware of your surroundings.
Sure.
Be aware of who's around you, what's around you. Pay attention to the water if you're at the beach. Pay attention to the waves because they can sneak up on you.
Let somebody know where you're going.
Let someone know where you're going. Yeah. Be aware.
That's right.
Be aware. I'm going to make that your new slogan.
Be
aware. I'll make you some shirts. Let's see. Tomorrow we'll have David Gomberg on the phone. Don't forget Senior Meals, noon every weekday at the Kiwanda Community Center in Pacific City, as well as the Tillamook Senior Center at 4th and Stillwell. Cost is $3 for seniors and $6.75 for everyone else. Today, there's a crabbing clinic from 7. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah. Crabbing clinic from 7 to 9:30 at the Harborview Inn and RV Park. All equipment is included. There's personal on-site instruction from a licensed guide, cooking and cleaning lessons afterwards. It is $25 per person. You know what? I'm reading this and it's over already. It's over at 9:30. So never mind. Ignore that. The Community Action Team is holding a free education workshop on Saturday from 8:30 to 4:30. The Homeowners Workshop teaches shopping for a home, financial readiness, understanding mortgages, the closing process, and how to protect your investment. The class will be held at the Tillamook Care Office at 2310 First Street. The Nestucca, Neskowin, and Sand Lake Watersheds Council invite you to join them at the Pacific City Boat Launch at 8:30 on Saturday for the Nestucca Bay cleanup. They need lots of volunteers to help pick up trash, as well as a few boat owners to help us transport people and the trash around the bay. If you are interested in being a boat volunteer, please RSVP with the council by emailing nnwc@nestuccawaters.org. Please dress for the weather and a day of mucking around the bay. Saturday night from 6:30 to 8, there is a Art Accelerated open mic night at Yo Time. It's a celebration of story, poetry, song, and the literary arts. And then Saturday and Sunday is the Collectors West Gun and Knife Show. Saturday 9 to 5 and Sunday 10 to 4. It is $7 admission. Parking is free. Thanks, gentlemen, for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Good learning about all the water stuff that we need to remember as summer comes up. And thank you, Tillamook, for listening.